Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to Sweetwater Sound Check. We have a special guest with us today. Andy Rice is here. You're a sales engineer here at Sweetwater.
True story.
How long have you been a sales engineer?
About 5 years.
5 years? And what did you do before that?
I was a gigging musician and bass teacher.
Really? Really? So how long have you been playing bass?
25 years-ish.
All right. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. And are you still playing a lot?
Yeah, I'm busy with work here and family life, but I definitely make time for it.
Right. Right. Well, you sound awesome. The music you were playing on the play in there was really incredible.
Thanks.
Yeah. So we are checking out today the Fender American Professional Jazz Bass. And this is a new version of the Jazz Bass. Of course, the Jazz Bass has been a very popular bass model for Fender for many years. Andy, give us a little idea of why bass players are so drawn to the Jazz Bass.
Well, for two big reasons for me. One is the variety of tones that you can get out of this thing with the pickups and the electronics, and then also playability. It's got a very thin profile neck, kind of makes it easier to play for a long gig so you don't get fatigued quite as easily.
And with the American Professional series, they've really taken the feature set toward what a player needs when they're playing live. They've got some really neat innovations here in this bass that I want to talk about. With the American Professional Jazz Bass, what we have is an alder body, a maple neck, and a rosewood fingerboard. And that maple neck hides a secret. There are two Posiflex graphite rods inside the neck. The advantage to those rods are, first of all, they keep the neck more stable. Graphite is very rigid, so it helps to maintain the shape of the neck. The other thing is that it helps with the resonance and the evenness of the neck. We don't have wolf tones and we don't have dead spots. The neck is fitted with a bone nut, which helps with sustain and the tone of the open strings. And we also have a new version of the tuners. They're called fluted tuners. And that helps with keeping the downward pressure more even across the strings as they're crossing the nut and going onto the headstock. Now we have 20 frets on the American Pro's neck, and those are tall, narrow frets. Andy, what's the advantage to that?
Well, it allows for more accurate intonation and better tone for slapping.
Right, which are both big advantages with a bass like this. Now the tone of this bass is coming from new V-Mod pickups, and these were designed by Tim Shaw, and they're designed to combine vintage and modern tonalities. Andy, what are your thoughts on these pickups?
They have very articulate highs, but you can also dial in kind of a vintage darkness with them, which I like for, you know, older style music, maybe, or dub reggae or something like that.
Sure. Let's demonstrate the sound of the two pickups. Why don't you dial in just the middle of the neck pickup for us, and we'll listen to that.
Yeah.
And now let's hear the bridge pickup. And both pickups together. So you can hear there's a broad range of tones available with this bass, and having a separate volume control available for each pickup allows you to blend them together and increases the tonal range even further. And of course we also have the tone control for controlling the high frequency content in the signal. Rounding out the features of the American Professional Jazz Bass is the high mass vintage bridge. Now this bridge contributes greatly to the sustain and the tone of the bass. The strings actually anchor through the body, but with that higher mass bridge, we're getting great vibration transfer into the body, and it's contributing a lot to the tone of the instrument. Now that we've checked out the features, what's really important is the impression of the bass that you have as a bass player. Tell us about the time you spent with it and what you think of the instrument.
Well, my first impression was that the neck feels incredible to play. So on a visceral level, it's a pleasure. And then these pickups really give an outstanding variety of tones, so I can dial in whatever I want.
Right. So out of the box, you take this straight to the gig and you're going to be sounding good?
No problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to have you play out and show us some more sounds from the bass. And by the way, I should mention we're playing through an Aguilar Tonehammer 500 bass head and through an Aguilar 1x12 cabinet. Sounds incredible here in the room. Really an awesome bass. Andy, thanks so much for taking your time to come down and demonstrate this bass for us. Playing was awesome, and I appreciate your professional insight into this instrument.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet. And thank you for joining me for Sweetwater Sound Check. I'm Mitch Gallagher.
it.